And now, you're tuned into RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
This is your RBLR Rays podcast. I'm your host, Zach Dahl, along with my co-host, Pat Davenport. Pat, how you feeling?
I am feeling good. The vibes in the UK are very good right now. It's a sunny day outside. We got a brand new government for the first time in 14 years. We're through to a semi-final in the Euros. Lewis Hamilton just won the Grand Prix. It's a good time to be British. And until about 2 days ago, it felt like it was a pretty good time to be a Rays fan as well.
It really did. And, that's the way of things, like you can feel like it's a great time to be a Rays fan. And then you can have 2 games and you may not feel that way. But then again, in 3 more days, maybe 5 more days after the Yankee series, we could feel that way again. And we're going to talk about whether we think we will feel that way again on this show today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. If it's your first time here, thank you for dropping in and hanging out with us before the game today. An important game, even though we have lost the series. I always say it's important if you can find a way to get to go in away game. If you lost a series like this, you get to go in away game. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about the week that was, the week to come, and kind of leading into the All-Star break. What are our thoughts on the way the team is going? We've been talking about it a lot. What is the forecast for this team moving forward? We're going to keep talking about it. We're going to talk about a big trade that happened this week. Kind of unexpected, kind of not. And then we'll also talk about what do we expect from the All-Star game from a Rays perspective. Are we going to have any representation there? We're going to talk about it. If you're watching us for the first time, thank you for joining us. If you would do us a huge favor and just like the video, and if you are watching us on Twitter or anywhere else, if you'd like to make a comment and let us know what you're thinking and what you're feeling as we're discussing through the show, you can hop on over to YouTube and make a comment, and we'll be able to see that, and maybe we'll react to it. If you bring some heat, we'll react to it. If you've been with us before, thank you for coming back. And if you're coming back, you may have come back because you subscribed or followed, and so you knew when we were going live. And if you have not done that already, I recommend that you do it so that anytime we go live, you will see that in your feed. Thank you for everyone that's here, and we're going to get right into it.
Absolutely. And I think we should start with perhaps the big roster move that took many by surprise this week. It took me by surprise for sure. And that was a trade with a team we're definitely familiar with trading with, and that's the Milwaukee Brewers. We have good relationships with those out in Milwaukee, I think. It's where we sent our beloved Willy Adames. It's where we got Drew Rasmussen from. It's, we like those guys over there. They're a smart organization over there.
They're good dudes over there.
Yeah. And we sent Aaron Civale over there, a guy we acquired last deadline, over to Milwaukee for a very young shortstop prospect in Gregory Berrios. I'll probably talk more about him in a second. But Zach, Aaron Civale, Dunzo, gone before the deadline, before trade seasons really got going. What was your reaction to this trade?
So I was surprised initially. I think I was driving somewhere when I saw the notification, and I was definitely surprised by it. But when you look back on it in retrospect, this is kind of the Rays' MO. They tend to do their biggest shopping at the deadline or biggest moves at the deadline actually early. They did this with the Nelson Cruz trade a couple of years ago. They like to strike early and kind of before everything gets all messy around the deadline. They like to make those early moves, and we saw that again here. I don't think it was shocking to see the move for Civale. I think we talked a little bit about, is he going to go to the bullpen? Is he going to go to AAA? What's the move going to be there? Because he's kind of been having a rough season, although he was kind of turning it around over the last couple of weeks. So maybe this was a case of the Rays saying, we're going to sell while the iron is hot. While he's having some good performances, we're going to get the max value. And, getting a top 20 prospect is definitely a good value for him, I would think. It's tough because you hate to lose starting pitching at any time, but when you look at the roster and the fact that we replaced him with another guy, literally straight away, and we've got another guy in AAA who's rehabbing right now, who's going to be coming up as well, it does kind of make sense because you have the arms to replace him. And he's not better than either of those two guys right now. I don't think he's getting starts over Shane Baz or Jeffrey Springs, either one of them. So it's kind of it starts to get really tight to determine what to do with him. And the Rays clearly felt like this was a good value, as we know, they listen on everybody. The Brewers have had a really rough season from a pitching perspective. They were like 7th in offense as a team, and they've just been really, really bad at almost every statistic from a starting pitching perspective. I mean, I'm sure moving off Corbin Burns didn't help them. So they needed to go out and add some starting pitching. They did that here. It's a good move for them. It's a good move for us, as we're moving a guy like Carson Williams up the system. There is definitely, there's definitely going to be needs for, glove first with potential shortstops. Like you're never going to, the Rays are never going to turn down a guy like that. It's a guy that's a player archetype that they like. They think, there's some chance for him to do well. I'm interested to hear what you think about him as a prospect. Maybe I'll ask you about that now. Do you think that the return that we got back for Civale was worth it?
So, it's an interesting one, especially when you broaden your context of how the Rays acquired Civale. We sent Kyle Manzardo, who was a pretty well-regarded prospect in the Rays system, for Civale. He was one of our top 10 organizational prospects when we traded him, and was a top 5 first base prospect in the game, kind of universally. He started to kind of get towards the fringes of the Cleveland roster. He's kind of been up and down. Hasn't made a huge splash for the Guardians yet. But and in return, we're getting Gregory Barrios, 20-year-old shortstop, currently playing at high A. He did that with Milwaukee, and he's reporting to Bowling Green with the Rays. Like you said, he's a very slick glove, pretty good speed, athletic shortstop, which the Rays love those, like you said, love those profiles, because they're versatile. You can kind of play them. He plays shortstop, but they could translate to anywhere. They could translate to the outfield. They could translate to other corner infield positions, second base. He could play pretty much anywhere. He's a pretty good fielder. In fact, that's his highest kind of scouting grade. They give him a 60 fielding, which is considered to project as good at Major League average for anyone who wonders how the 20 to 80 scale works. 50 is projected to be kind of Major League average. So 60 is projected to be a good fielder. And he runs well. He's got a good arm. He's actually got pretty good contact skill as well. He's actually hitting 317 on the year. If you like batting average as a stat. Power, doesn't have that. No power. I'm sorry. He does not have that. Last year, he hit 1 home run. That was his first professional home run. This year, he's hit 1 other home run. So he's like a less extreme Chandler Simpson, but probably a better fielder, I would say. Better infielder. Doesn't strike out that much, which is pretty good. He's good at getting the bat. Yeah, he's good at getting the bat on the ball. Doesn't walk very much either. So I could see him projecting to be similar to Ahmed Rosario, but a better fielder.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't say no to that. That's not, so I guess that's the question. If I told you today that he was going to be slightly better fielder around the same bat value as Ahmed Rosario, if I told you that today, would you be okay with the trade as far as pure value? Let's just take the roster, maneuvers out of it. Because, I mean, I think when you add that in, it kind of changes the perspective. But if you just take that out of it, do you think that's good value for Aaron Civale right now?
For Aaron Civale right now, yeah, I would say so. I think Aaron Civale is a kind of, as of right now, he's a back end of the rotation starter. Which is a shame because he had potential to be a good high-end mid-level rotation guy when the Rays got him, and there were loads of signs that they were working towards that. But as a back end of the rotation starter as he is now, a kind of decent prospect that ends up falling to 19 on the Rays organizational rankings, so a top 20 organizational prospect according to MLB.com. Yeah, I would take a top 20 organizational prospect for that, especially considering he only had 1 year left on his deal, I think, and he's due he was due just under $5 million this year as well, which is expensive by Rays terms.
That's interesting that you bring that up, because I think my question might be, what might they be envisioning for that $5 million? Could they potentially give that money to a certain third baseman who's been having a nice season in an extension as part of the beginning of that?
They definitely could. They
Definitely could.
Or alternatively, if they're just like looking at 5 million saved this year, that gives them some more space to add if they want to get some guy at the deadline, if there was a guy that they wanted to get. Because let's be honest, who they're getting is not going to be earning 20 million. It's going to be a guy that will probably fit around the edges of the roster, or be a kind of role player. So that money could easily be reallocated there as well.
Yeah. So it makes me think that either there is some kind of move coming at the deadline, or there is an extension coming for somebody. My candidates, I don't know if we've talked about this recently, but like if we were going to rank our candidates for extensions, number 1 and number 2 for me are Siri and Paredes. I think Siri might be, that's tough to rank them, but I'm just going to say Siri and Paredes are like, if we could get one of them extended, I'd be really happy.
Yeah, I think Paredes is my number 1 extend him guy. But alternatively, that means like, where's Caminero gonna play?
Yeah.
Like this is the thing. Do you bet on Paredes to continue the production, or do you bet on Caminero to come and change the game? Or do you move on from Brandon Lau and bet on Caminero to come in at second base?
Or Yandy.
Or
They're
Yandy.
so high on Yandy,
Yeah, but that means Paredes moves to first?
Or Caminero moves to first.
Yeah. So
Brandon Lau moves to first, who he has played occasionally.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. But we've got a real infield kind of logjam. With the only kind of position where you go, we can definitely like put a prospect in that I'd be totally fine taking all the playing time, is shortstop. And
we do have somebody who we think is going to be doing that. I would say mid 2025 would be my guess. Maybe starting 2025. We'll have to see how he plays the rest of the year with Carson Williams. If you don't know who we're talking about, I would say Carson Williams is the shortstop apparent. Unless something dramatic happens, and then
he's doing really well. He's doing really well in Double-A right now. Is Carson Williams? He's still striking out a lot, but he's still maintaining the level of production that he was having in the lower levels. In fact, even better than the production he was having in the lower levels, despite striking out, still striking out a ton. He's his slash lines are better. His production is still really, really good, and he's a good fielder as well. So, I think he will see the call at AAA before the year is out, barring an injury. I doubt I kind of facetiously said that there's no chance he plays a major league game this year. I don't want to say that, but I think I don't think he'll be ready to kind of assume a real role this year for sure. 2025 seems likely, barring injuries.
Yeah. So I think I don't know about you, but I would right now at the moment I would give this move like a B if I was gonna rank it, because I never love moving on from starting pitching, but it does seem like they got good value for him, so I'd give it a B if I was gonna give it a grade. What about you?
I'd give it a B as well, because there was a world where we could have DFA'd Civale.
Yes.
And got nothing. That could have happened because we got nothing for Harold.
Yeah.
And you could argue, maybe not this year, but Harold had a good track record of production for 2 years coming into this year, and we couldn't get anything for him. So when a player is struggling on a 500 team to kind of stand out and be on a 500 team, value's low. So to get a top 20 prospect, you like that. And it's a good move for Civale as well, which I think stays true for what the Rays like to do with guys that they like. They try and find good landing spots for them, as well as finding good returns for the Rays. They like to send their guys to places where they think they do well. And I think the Brewers, a team like you said that needs starting pitching, but also have a good track record with tweaking and working on pitches to get good stuff out of them. I hope Civale does well there. I don't know if he will, but I hope he will. And I think it's a good landing spot for him as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we appreciate what he has done for the team. So salute you there, sir. Appreciate your work. but I think it is for the best overall. As we kind of look back at the week that was, as much as like the roller coaster of the vibes has been over the last week, it was a 500 week for the Rays. We've had another one of those, which leaves us one game below 500. So we'll talk about the Washington series. We got the series win going away, which was nice, a shutout. Nice to see that. Any thoughts to wrap up the Washington series?
I thought we played well. For the most part, except for the middle game where everything kind of came unglued. I thought otherwise we played really well. Bradley looked really good. Eflin looked really good. Civale didn't look good, but that's not a problem. That's not a problem anymore. I'm happy the offense did enough. They weren't like great, but they did enough. The bullpen were also very good in that series. I thought we played well. The Nationals aren't a pushover this year. They've got a very interesting roster, I think. And they're kind of like doing an interesting strategy of kind of having their young, good prospects kind of sitting around while being propped up by some rental veterans. To kind of like give them some cushioning and a bit of protection and a bit less exposure. I think they're doing a really good job over there in Washington on their rebuild. And they're starting to turn that corner. So to take 2 out of 3 against them is a job well done.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you'd expect a team of the Rays caliber to win, especially at home. You expect them to win that series, and they did exactly what we'd like them to do. It would have been nice to sweep. Didn't happen. You got the series win. I'm pretty happy with that. It'll be interesting to see if the Washington Nationals could potentially compete for a playoff spot next year. I'm not comfortable enough with the Washington Nationals roster to say that one way or the other, but it's something I will keep an eye on. Is maybe do we see them compete next year? I guess we'll have to see.
We managed to dodge the James Wood call up, which is good because it always seems like every 3 weeks we get a Twitter notification being like, the team the Rays are about to face call up their top prospect starting pitcher to start against them. And I'm like, why is it always us? Why is it always us? So we managed to dodge that for a change. They said they were going to wait till Monday to do that. So thank you, Nationals. Appreciate that.
We do not appreciate Bobby Witt Jr. We do not appreciate Bobby Witt Jr., do we? I mean, I appreciate him as a baseball fan. I do not appreciate him as a Rays fan. And he kind of like wrecked us. Thankfully, there's only one of him. So we won the series on the road, which I was really happy with. Like winning a series on the road against a team that is currently are they in the playoffs? I think we actually knocked them out of the playoffs, which is pretty funny. Yeah. I think they are currently out of the playoffs by 1.5 games. So you're welcome, Kansas City.
Sorry.
And winning a series on the road against them, I feel pretty good about it. How do you feel?
Great, over the moon. I was scared about this series. I'm not going to lie to you. The Royals are a pesky team, and it feels like whenever I watch a Rays Royals game, it always historically has felt like hell, because the Royals historically have always seemed to BABIP the Rays to death, and all their games seem to take 4 hours. And there's always base runners on every inning. This series was a bit like that, though, to be fair. But the key thing was that we won the games. I thought Zach Littell was amazing, and he got a bit robbed of a really good start because of that rain delay in the first game.
Yes.
But the bullpen were awesome, and the offense came alive after the rain, which was great. And then the second game was a bit of a tough one to lose. Michael Wacha. I wish I could go back in time and stop us from reviving Michael Wacha's career.
Right.
Because he has owned us since he left, whether it's with the Padres or the Red Sox and now the Royals. He has always put up good numbers against us since we revived his career. Thanks, Michael Wacha, for that.
Seriously.
And then in the second game, I thought we played really well there. I mean, a slugfest in that one, which is a rare thing I think the Rays seem to get into. But we did it. The offense looked outstanding in that. And we managed to just about hold it down a win and another series win. That was our 5th series win in a row. So vibes were excellent at that point.
Yeah, and it was when I talked about a lot. We had that 9-game stretch on the road that we really needed to do well in. We did well there. We've kind of kept the momentum going. At that point, again, the 5 straight series in a row that we won. Really, really, really nice momentum. It felt like going into the Texas series. And I think why winning all those games and having those good series has been so vital is because a lot of the teams around the Rays, we're going to talk about this later, have also been playing pretty well. So it's been tough because you'd see the Rays win a series and then win another series and then win another series, and you go to the standings expecting something to change, and it's been kind of the same. So they've been playing 600 baseball for a little while now, and it's just been tough because you haven't seen the gains on the leaderboard match what I think is the level of play they have been putting out there.
Yeah, 100% agree, and it's because we're so caught in 500 purgatory right now. Like, hey, we got above 500. Oh, now we lose the game. We're back below 500 again. It's like the moment it seems like the momentum's starting to build, we have a series like this Texas one where the offense just completely disappears for a couple of games. And because like you said, the Red Sox and Astros have been playing so well around us, it felt like we were like, hey, we're keeping up with these red hot teams, and then we've slipped. And all of a sudden it's like, oh no, now they've managed to get a couple of steps on us now. So we're now back to playing catch up again, even though we were playing such good baseball. So it's really frustrating. The Rays have mostly been handling business, but the moment they didn't is where it's all kind of slipped up. It was like, in May, we went on like a really good run at the start of May, and then we went on like an L6. And it's just feel like whenever we do something positive, we follow it up with an equal act of negative play. So it's just like, because the team has been playing way better than what my kind of vibe and feeling is on the team after the past 2 days. And I don't think that's fair on the Rays that's been the case. But unfortunately, we don't play in a vacuum. We play in a league where we have to do better than other teams, and the other teams have been playing really well.
Yeah, and that kind of moves us into Texas. Right before we do that, just want to point out 363 WRC plus from Bobby Witt Jr. over the 3 games. So I'm glad to not see him again for a little while. So hopefully not until I guess, do we play him again? I don't think so. I think we'd only see him again in the postseason. So that's great because I don't like him very much. Moving into the Texas Rangers series, it's hard not to feel like the vibe is like dead after you had 2 games. You had a 5-game series winning. You had a 5-series winning streak. You came into this series. You have had the runners on base to win/tie the game in both games multiple times, and you didn't get it done. You thought you got it done in yesterday's game with Yandy with the 3-run bomb. You thought you were there. Kelly gives it up. It's a frustrating brand of baseball that we had to watch over the last 2 days. And I'm on the same train with you. I don't think that the Rays played terrible. And I don't know that the vibes that we have right now are justified based on how well the team has actually been playing. But it is frustrating. It is hard not to be frustrated with them when you see them getting in position to score and having opportunities to win the game, to go ahead and not pulling it off. So it's just been a little bit of a frustrating couple of days.
100%. I don't know what it is about Texas and being vibe killers for us. They seem to always be that way. Like in the 2010 and 11 playoffs, last year's playoffs, they just seem to kill our vibe and ruin the party for us. I don't know what it is. It's frustrating. Like really, we only got 1 significant hit these past 2 games, and that was that Yandy 3-run dinger. The pitching's been pretty. Bars was good.
Yes.
Bars was good, and we should give credit where the credit's due there. It's a shame that Kevin Kelly was the one that kind of took the hit there. I wouldn't have done anything differently.
No, I wouldn't either.
Because it would have just been as simple as Kelly and then Poche/Adam and then Fairbanks. That's how I would have lined it up. You could, I guess, argue semantics of Poche instead of Kelly, but against a bunch of right-handed hitters, I don't know.
And you would have probably pulled it for Simeon anyway, right?
Right.
Simeon's really good.
Simeon's really good.
Really good hitter, does really good things. Sometimes that just happens in baseball. Sometimes you can make the right move, and we I think we've seen this actually a lot this year. I think we haven't really had too much beef with Kevin Cash's decisions across the year. That doesn't mean it works out. And that just kind of is what it is. I think a lot of times when something bad happens like that, the impulse is to go, why did Kevin Cash do that? or this person sucks, or in reality, sometimes a guy who's really good just performs really good. And that can be tough to watch when it's not your team doing the really good performing, but sometimes that's just what happens. And it was crushing to lose a game that you really wanted, because then you keep the series winning streak potentially alive. You go into the Yankees at home after a bye, and you think, hey, maybe we can really run something through here. Didn't happen. But the thing that I trust about the Rays, I'm not going to predict today's game, because I've stopped doing that, because I tend to always predict it wrong. But this team can absolutely bounce back. This is a team that does not give up, that does not surrender, that does not fold under the pressure and under, scrutiny, under, tough situations. They continually have gotten back up and kept on plowing ahead. This team could easily have packed it in and be 10 games back and just to give it up, but they haven't, despite all the bad luck, despite the unfortunate injuries and the unfortunate timing of those injuries, and just some characteristically bad performances from some of our top performers. The team has continued to plow on, to fight the good fight, to be in the conversation around the playoffs. And I guess there's a part of me that wants to believe that perseverance is going to be rewarded. Yeah. And they are going to be rewarded with some wins and with a little winning streak of some kind to kind of re-inject things back, where they should be. I just kind of believe that, because this team has fought so hard to earn that.
I think the roster's in as good a shape as it has been all season.
Yeah.
Apart from Springs, the roster's almost as good as it can be now.
Yeah.
Like, all the good players are here. And this team can go on a run, but it could come mid-September and it'll be too late if they don't hurry up. This is Robert's hitting the road a little bit. I know there's no must-win games until you're out of postseason contention, and we're still in postseason contention. But how many games out would the Rays need to fall before you go, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs? Just as a exercise in theory.
I'd say probably 8 games. If they get to 8 games out of the playoff spot, it's going to start at this point in the season. It's going to start to get hard to believe.
Okay,
that's kind of, I think, would be my breaking point.
So this is it. We're kind of we've been kind of saying this all year, that we're one nice run away, where a good week where we go 6-1, and the other teams around us don't have a good week. We're right there. But now we're also at the point where a particularly bad week could be catastrophic.
Yeah.
If we have a week where we go 1-5 and the Astros and Red Sox continue at the pace we're 8-9 games out.
Yeah.
So we're now on a knife edge. I've been very optimistic all year long. But here's the one thing I will say as I look at today's game and then the 6 games after that. You have today's game. You got to find a way to win today's game. First things first, win the game in front of you. Then you get a day off. Then you get 6 games at home. Then you get 4 days off, except for maybe 1 or 2 guys, because we're not going to have a whole lot of guys going to the All-Star game. Yeah.
So what you have is, to me, an opportunity to empty the chamber. You've got 6 games. Empty, whatever you've got, empty the mag, get 6 wins, find a way to go 5-1, go 6-0, find a way. And I hope to see some aggressive managing from Kevin Cash over these 6 games, because you can worry about all of that, all of the bullpen management, all of that. You don't have to worry about it, because you've got 4 days off after that, where you can reset everything. So
yeah,
to me, this is it right here. You got 6 games against playoff contending teams, one of which is floundering wildly in the Yankees at home. The start times are all fairly similar. For 4 of those games, you get 6:50 start times. You get the opportunity. We talked about this before, to get in a routine, and then you get a 4:10 and a 1:40 start time going into the All-Star break. Empty the chamber.
I agree. I completely agree. It's a big week. It's a big week ahead, because if it's a good week, we'll be like, we're so back. If we have a bad week, we'll be like, maybe it's over. I mean, it won't be over. It's never over until it's
never over until it's over. And
but we'll be feeling really bad if it goes bad, but we'll be feeling really good if it goes good. Please, 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 don't go 3-3. I'm tired of 500 baseball. I'm so tired of 500 baseball. Watch the monkey's paw curls and we go 0-6.
Yeah. Or if you're out there right now and you're concerned, you feel like you've gone 0-6 this last week, or you've just been watching the Rays and you're feeling a little bit down, and you need something to not only improve your consistency of your wardrobe, but also to kind of put you back in a good mood, get you back in step. I've got a place for you. It's shop.rblrsports.com, where you can buy awesome gear to put you in a better mood and to improve your game from a wardrobe perspective. We're always looking for ways to min-max our lives. You can min-max your wardrobe at shop.rblrsports.com, where you can get the best Tampa Bay sports gear from the Rowdies, the Bucks, the Lightning, and the Rays. The best stuff is there. And we're giving you 10% off everything there with promo code FLAPPY, FLAPPY. Shop.rblrsports.com, 10% off everything there. Promo code FLAPPY, FLAPPY.
You can't be repping the All-Stars if you don't look like an All-Star. And that's what shop.rblrsports.com can do for you.
Speaking of All-Stars, let's talk about the RBL Arm and RBL Out of the Week. Because could it be, I don't think one of these guys is going to be an All-Star, but could it be that one of the guys that we're going to highlight, actually maybe as an alternate, I don't know. Let's just talk about it. Who is our RBLat of the week?
Our RBLat of the week is maybe going to be an All-Star. Maybe. That is the sock. The guy that's been doing it all year. It's Isaac Paredes. Oh my God, he's done it again. I need to go back and see how many times he's won Bat of the Week this year. It's got to be tons.
We really should be keeping track of this. That's something we should start doing, is keeping track of all these winners.
Yeah, because then we can maybe at the end of the season review it and say, leave that with me. But he has been, we were all like, oh, is Isaac slipping up a little bit? Is he going to take a bit of a slump? No. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. He put up a 217 WRC plus, a pair of home runs, drove in 5, continuing to walk a load. He's just been absolutely outstanding with the bat, carrying the team, this offense on his back. Didn't have to do it all by himself this week, as we had a few other good performances, but Isaac put up 0.5 FWAR in just a week, half a win in a week.
Amazing.
You can't argue with that. That'll win you Bat of the Week every single week. Isaac, continue to be amazing, buddy. Keep pulling those fly balls. We love you.
And I think it's funny that you mentioned not doing it alone. I think this we agreed on the Bat of the Week this week, and it should tell you how clearly better he was than everybody else, that I didn't give it to the number 2 guy, Brandon Lau, which I desperately wanted to do, but I couldn't in good conscience do it because he was better in every I couldn't find a single metric except for batting average, which is a fake stat. Not a fake stat, but it's not a stat that I put any, stock in. Isaac Paredes was either equal or better in every single stat. So that just tells you how good of a week he had. He's been the most consistent bat on the team all year. He's played really nice defense at third base. 0.5 FWAR in a week is no joke. If you did that every week of the year, you'd be in for a really nice season. And he's been in for a really nice season. Isaac Paredes is our well-deserving RBLR Bat of the Week.
Absolutely. But what I've got here is we have 7 guys that hit to a over 100 WRC plus this week. And Ahmed Rosario came very close. He had 99. So fair play to you, Ahmed. But Richie Palacios also had a really good week as well. Mm-hmm. He didn't really hit for any power at all, but he slapped a bunch of singles about and got on base a lot. And Randy and Johnny DeLuca also had some pretty good weeks as well.
They did. And I give props to Johnny DeLuca because that's another example of players on this team who could have easily just kind of folded when things weren't going well, because he's been having a rough go of it recently. And he has battled back and kind of won the Rays a game this week. So
Yeah.
props to Johnny DeLuca.
It's good to see you back, Johnny. Okay. We also had a consensus on our RBL arm of the week. Zach, who the heck was our arm of the week this week?
This one was, I don't want to say it was a no-brainer, but it was like a fairly easy decision. And it does help that this guy started 2 games, but it also double helps that both of the games he started were really, really good. It's the monument himself, Taj Bradley. A 0.5 WAR in a week, 2 starts, almost 12 innings, 11 and 2/3 innings pitched to a 0.77 ERA, even better, a 1.45 FIP, 2.58 xFIP. Just was doing everything that you'd like to see. Didn't give up a home run in either one of his starts. That's something you really like to see from a Rays starting pitcher, is no home runs given up. We love to see that. He's starting to become what we always hoped he could be, which is an upper echelon of the rotation. Maybe not number 1, but maybe 2 or 3 of the rotation starter. He's starting to round into that kind of form. It's amazing to watch it happen, where he's starting to get a little more consistent. He's starting to land more pitches in the zone, to threaten with his other breaking pitches, to get those swings and misses. It's been really fun to watch him kind of evolve and become the guy that we always hoped he could be. Taj Bradley, what a week.
What a week. And he's being more efficient with his pitches as well. Yesterday, through 6 innings, he didn't even throw 80 pitches. So he's looking really good. He could have, in theory, and I think that's where some of the criticism for Cash came, he could have gone out there to start the 7th, if you're just talking by pure pitch count numbers. But, ups and downs, and he's still young and high leverage, all that kind of stuff. But Taj has been awesome. And also his ground ball rate has been really good. He had a 50% ground ball rate this week, which is great because, he's been known to be hit hard. And in the air a lot. So it's good that he's managed to bring that down a bit as well. Just all the numbers point to a great week for Taj. If he can keep this up, then we've got ourselves a hell of a rotation for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and one of the things that has been good to see from him is he is getting more of his pitches in the zone. His zone percentage is up, which is what you'd like to see. Like, you don't want to be in the zone too much, because then you could potentially get, hitters could get used to that and make better contact. But he's moving up towards keeping more of his pitches in the zone. That's what you want to see from him. When he pitches poorly, it's because he's not pitching in, getting his pitches in the zone, and he's forced to kind of just pipe a fastball down the middle, and then that gets hammered. That's where he that's where he does poorly. What we saw in his last 2 starts was getting more pitches in the zone, which allows him to play that fastball at the top of the zone where it plays so well, and that's where you see the level of success. So keeping those pitches in the zone, Taj, because you're really starting to move up to what we expected you to potentially be.
Yeah, and it's been such a fast development for him as well. Like, it feels like it was only a month ago that he was struggling, but now he's right there. So his effort deserves to be applauded. I also want to give a couple of honorable mentions. Shane Bars had a great debut this season.
Welcome back from 2022 to now. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. It's a long road back from TJ back to the major leagues, but he's managed to do it. So well done. I also thought Zach Littell had a really good start cooking that got cut short by a rain delay. That wasn't his fault.
Yes.
But he went 5 scoreless, and he probably could have gone an inning or so more as well. So well done, Zach Littell. And you'll be surprised that I'm saying this. I want to give a shout out to Phil Maton.
He had a good week.
4 appearances this week. No runs allowed. What more do you want?
That's about that's about as much as you can ask from a relief pitcher. Don't allow runs. Go out there more than once or twice a week. So there you go.
Thank you. Well done, Phil Maton. So those are our bats and arms of the week. So let's talk about All-Stars while we're applauding performances. The Rays do not have a starter in the All-Star game. We do not on the position player side. The only person that was anywhere close would have been Paredes, but he didn't get any votes. And unfortunately, the starters are decided by a fan vote. A Rays player that wasn't, playing like an MVP caliber would have no chance.
Just not going to happen.
Yeah. So the Rays do not have a representative, but we're contractually obligated to have at least one. Who do you think our representative next week will be in Texas?
It's a little frustrating because it should be Paredes because he's played so well. I wonder if there may, because there's a couple of guys who are going to be there that could play third base. I don't know if he'll end up being there. I would like to see him there. He's earned it. I hope he gets there. I also think Jason Adam has a pretty good chance of being there. He's been the Rays' most consistent reliever, so that's usually kind of where they look. When teams are trying to just find an all-star guy to put on, they look for somebody who's been pretty good. I kind of don't know if there's really anybody else, unfortunately, because they've had some kind of up and down performances and so many of them have been hurt. Like, I think Siri, if he had kind of not, had a little mini injury bug and been a little more consistent, could have potentially been deserving. But right now, I think Paredes and Adam are the best bets.
Yeah, I completely agree. Ooh, I think it's tough. It's tough which one is going to get selected. You can never bet against a reliever going from a team that's not really spectacular. You can always bet on them going, we need another arm in the pen. So it could be Adam.
I think it could be Adam. I think if Pete hadn't been hurt so much and hadn't been kind of off and on the IL, he would have also been up for that. But I think it's probably going to end up being Adam as our representative at the All-Star game. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to say that fan voting is stupid and we should get rid of it because the best players never are the ones. This year, it was fine overall. It was pretty good. I will say, as much as I love Paredes, I think that, Jose Ramirez was a little better towards the back half of the year and kind of pulled ahead a little bit of Paredes, so I'll let that one go. But in general, the fact that Isaac Paredes wasn't even in the top 10 of third base voting is everything that is wrong with fan voting for the All-Star game. And as something that is so important to so many players, like having that All-Star on their baseball reference page and showing that level of performance, it shouldn't just be up to fans to vote for it. I'm sorry, because most fans I'm not any better. I voted for all Rays players. I'm not going to pretend that I didn't. Just put all the Rays players in and vote for them.
At least you didn't vote for Martin Maldonado.
Anyway, but see, what's the problem? Things like that can happen, and that it's cute, it's fun. Should maybe should maybe they be allowed to vote for an all-star alternate or something? Sure, fine. I'm cool with that. The leading vote getter is the first one announced or something. Okay, that's fine. But letting fans choose the all-star team, and thank goodness they don't let them choose the pitching because that would be even worse. I don't even want to know what a disaster that would be. So thank you to whoever runs MLB if they haven't done that yet. But I just think fan voting is always, a mess. This year was slightly okay because there were some guys that were clearly at the top of the food chain and they got in. But fan voting just needs to go.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I don't like fan voting for the All-Star game.
I think anyone who's not a Rays fan would look at us and go, "Well, yeah, you would say that."
You're probably right.
I'm sure the Yankees fans love fan voting.
I'm sure they do.
Because no matter what Aaron Judge is doing, he's going to get voted in. So. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it should be on merit, not on popularity, for something that does get put into consideration when you talk about when it all gets said and done for Hall of Fame discussions. Because let's be honest, Hall of Fame voters, not all of them are the statistician types, and they will go, well, he was only an all-star one time. Derek Jeter was a 20-time all-star. He's a winner. You know what I mean? That will matter to those kind of voters. And it matters to the players a whole bunch. So it's a shame that it's kind of at the whims of what team you play for and how big your market is at times. Yeah. I'm not a fan of that at all. I will say we did have 3 players named to the Futures game.
We do love that.
Yeah.
And there's some exciting players there too.
Yeah, Xavier Isaac. Trey Morgan is going to as an alternate, but is going to be in the I can't remember
the skills competition.
Yeah, the combine type thing. And then was it Chandler Simpson the third one, or was it Carson?
Let me check.
I should have double checked that. Sorry, everyone. It was a It was Chandler Simpson. I was right. I should have stuck with my gut.
Chandler Simpson. Okay, there we go. Chandler Simpson. Yeah. I thought you were right too, but I was like, let's just make sure.
Yeah, Chandler Simpson, Xavier Isaac, and Trey Morgan as well. Trey Morgan is a prospect more people need to be talking about because he's really good.
Yeah, and he's the interesting thing as we kind of move into the back half of the year, as we look down at our farm system, is who is going to be moved up faster, Xavier Isaac or Trey Morgan? Because while more has been invested in Xavier Isaac and he's the higher rated prospect, when you look at some of the things that Trey Morgan has done with his, with I don't want to say unmeasurables, but things that you're not looking necessarily at the home runs or the ratio stats, but things like swing decisions and power and consistency. You've seen a lot of things you really, really like from Trey Morgan. And he's a little like, I don't know, like coming from a college player, he's got some of that polish too. He comes from LSU. It'll be really, really interesting. I'm very curious to see what the Rays do. I think either decision is fine if they move one up or the other, but it's going to be very interesting to see how the Rays handle two really good first base prospects that are going to need to move up soon.
Yeah, it's like Trey Morgan is all bat to ball skills, good swing decisions, really good fielder at first base as well. Very athletic. And Isaac's like the power guy. He's going to slug you out of the park. But they're both doing really well. Like even Isaac, who's like considered the more like lower batting average, lower OBP guy, is still hitting 293, 382 on base percentage, 550 slugging for a 932 OPS, 13 home runs. Like he's still doing really well, but then Morgan's hitting in the 350s. So it's like, but only 4 home runs. So they're like very different skill sets. They're both so valuable. I wonder if Trey Morgan can like grow into a little bit more power, because if he just gets like a little bit more power, then he's a really special prospect, I would say.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of time to develop that because he's only down in single A right now, and there's a lot more time for him to develop. He's only, I think he's 21. He's about to turn 22. He's only 21. He's a left-handed bat, which we love. I think it'll be interesting to see his development going forward. I love doubles guys. Doubles guys are fun. And he's hit, let's see how many doubles. He's hit 12 doubles so far this year at A plus, and he hit 4 before that at single A. So, or at A, I guess it's low A is what it is, the way it's generally described. Love the doubles guys. So it'll be fun to see what they do there. And that's kind of the fun thing about the Rays is even if the team at the major league level is struggling a little bit, there are fun things to watch all throughout the minors. And so if you're ever getting frustrated with the Rays at the major league level, just go hop on over to MILB.TV and pop on one of the Rays minor league games, because you're going to see some really fun guys that will eventually be up and, making big things happen for the major league team, or be a part of a really big trade that could get us a high level guy that's major league ready. So there's good stuff to watch down at the minors if for some reason you decide you're done with the major league team for a day.
Yeah, and I don't blame you if you are, but yeah, I would say high A and double A are really fun right now.
Watch the Hot Rods. The Hot Rods are a fun team.
Yeah, they're doing really, really well. Xavier Isaac has stolen 13 bases this year.
I will say, let me tell you something. I went and saw the Hot Rods earlier this year. They came to where I live and played our home team. He's much faster than I expected. I mean, obviously, you could just see that by the statistics. But seeing him in person, he was a lot like, I mean, I kind of imagined, for instance, the way that I heard him described as this giant hulking dude. I mean, he is a big dude, but he's way more athletic, way quicker than I imagined. He stole at least one bag while I was watching him. Faster than I expected. So you love a first baseman who hits for power, who can also steal a couple bags. That's a great combo.
Yeah, he can he stole 12 last year, and everyone was like, "Whoa!" And he's already on 13.
Yeah,
so he's gonna be a 2020 guy this year.
And you know what? That's amazing. And Trey Morgan has stolen 15 bags so far this year between the two levels. So
first base, and then Carson Williams has also moved up. Carson Williams in big news has moved into the top 10 all MLB prospects according to Baseball America. He's now 9th on that list. So he's coming and starting to get a lot more respect from around the kind of prospect sphere. as he continues to ascend up the minor leagues as well. So that's an exciting one. I'm trying to think, are there any other prospects that you're like super hyped about?
I think the older one that I'm interested to see, because I wonder if potentially he could show up at the major league level sometime this year, is Joe Rock at AAA, a starting pitcher at AAA. He's been really good for like a while now, and it's interesting. I think there was a time we talked about it a couple of times where we wondered if maybe he would show up because we still had some injuries with our top guys, and we were wondering if maybe somebody would get switched out. Now that Boz is back and Springs is on the mend, I don't know that we're going to see Joe Rock at the major league level, but because of how well he's played, I'm curious to see what he ends up doing. I'm getting the feelings of a trade package for a MLB ready starter. There's not a whole lot of those out there. He could be a number 5, number 4 guy maybe for a team with a weaker starting rotation. I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah, I don't see why the A's wouldn't want him or the White Sox wouldn't want him. I don't know. Just saying. So yeah, we got a great system. And that's we haven't even talked about Dominic Keegan. We've not even talked about Chandler Simpson really. So there's loads of great guys in there. So the system at least is great. No real roster moves apart from the Civale trade and reinstating Bars. Jeffrey Springs looked good in a rehab appearance. He went 4 innings. 4, I think.
I think he went 3 in his previous start. I didn't see his line from last night, but I will find out.
He went 4 innings last time out.
4 innings, okay. And I think, we talked about this a little bit as we were getting ready to start the show. When you look at kind of the Rays schedule moving forward, you have some home series towards the end of July, especially after the All-Star break. I wouldn't be shocked if the Rays targeted the Miami series at the end of July, or if he's still not ready by then, maybe one of those road series at the beginning of August, or maybe the Baltimore series at home at the beginning to middle of August as a return for him off the IL if he continues to progress in the right direction.
Yeah, it's exciting. The last Infinity Stone is close, people.
Yeah.
This month, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, yeah, do you have any... So, in summary, the season's on a bit of a knife edge. We're stuck in 500 purgatory. The system's really good. The last Infinity Stone to complete the gauntlet is on the way. Do you have any other kind of thoughts on this Rays team?
So the last thing I'm going to say about this Rays team, or I don't know if it's the last thing, but it's one of the most important things I think it needs to be said about this team, is that while it's been frustrating to watch, this team could turn it on at any time. And I think we've known that for a while. We've said that for a while, that if everybody gets hot, they could go on a run. The reason why, and I think some people are starting to say, well, they just had it, so we need to just try to do a retool, get what we can get for some of these guys, and look to 2025. Looking at 2025 is exactly why I don't want to move on from any of this core, because you have McClanahan, who we haven't even talked about, Rasmussen, who we haven't even talked about, are coming back in 2025. This is not the time to punt and give up. Now is the time to, in my opinion, let this team run and do what it can do. And then next year, when you want to talk about the Infinity Stones, you're going to have Shane back. You're going to have Rasmussen back. You're going to have a full year for Junior Caminero, although he's been a little hurt, to continue to get where he needs to get as a prospect and hopefully a player. You're going to have a full another year of Carson Williams development, where maybe he could be the shortstop apparent going into 2025 or early on in 2025. Next year is going to be, and I feel like we keep saying this, and it's been frustrating because we keep saying next year's going to be the year, and we've said that a couple of times now, but considering who's coming back from injury next year, combined with who's already come back and where we are, it's unfortunate to say that what happened with our starting shortstop has kind of derailed this year a little bit, I think, more than we anticipated, because you're missing that production. You're just having, Cabby's been great, but you just are missing one more guy kind of, and there's not really a good place to get it from. So you're hoping that some of the other guys who have been really, really good for us in the past will eventually turn it back on and be those guys. But I don't think that now is the time to sell because of what next year is going to look like. The guys you're going to have available, the construction this team has been put together. I think as much as it might be painful, and I hope it won't be, I think this team can turn it around. I think this team can win rattle off 6 or 7 straight wins going into the All-Star break. They can do it. But even if they don't, I wouldn't sell, because the future of this team is really, really, really bright.
Yeah, I think so. I think whatever happens, we're going to sell off some fringe pieces like Rosario. I think Civale was going to go. There could be a world where we dump a bullpen arm. But I don't think the core's going anywhere. I don't think the core's going anywhere. Like, Randy's not getting traded. Isaac's not getting traded. Yandy's not getting traded. Lau, Low. They're all sticking about for sure. Yeah. And there's no chance, even if we go 0-7 into the All-Star break, they're not going to sell those guys, I don't think.
I don't think so either, and I don't want them to. I know that will they take calls on all those guys? Yes. But I don't think anyone's going to be willing to give them what they would need to move those guys. And if they do, then fine. We're going to get a great return. But I don't think anybody will. I think this team stays together. I think this team will turn it around. I'm very optimistic, and it's going to take a lot for me to lose the optimism. So if you don't like the optimism, sorry, everybody. If you're watching, you don't like the optimism, I'm going to be optimistic. Because I've seen this team do it. I've seen this team turn on the afterburners and have a great month. I believe they can do it.
And I can too. It's just going to be edge of your seat stuff. That's for sure. So with that in mind, I'd just like to say thank you to anybody that tuned in and watched us live today or on demand, who's speaking to us. We're speaking to you from the past. Hopefully the Rays won against the Rangers today. But either way, if you've made it to the end of the show, we'd like to hope that you've enjoyed what you've listened to today. So if you have, could you do us a massive favor, and that's drop us a subscribe, a follow on socials, so that you can be notified anytime that we go live or we drop a new episode. It would be of great benefit to you if you've liked what you've seen, because you will get all the new episodes straight away, and you can be up to date with all your Rays talk. You can also drop us a like. That does way more than you know in terms of our brand exposure and visibility. And also, if you can, tell your friends, hey, there's this really cool Rays podcast going about RBLR Rays. They're super smart cookies over there. They do some good Rays talk. It'd be, again, super helpful as we try and build this Rays brand. And it will mean a lot to us, and it means that you will be up to date with whatever is going on in Rays baseball.
We are so excited for everybody who's come along with us and been a part of the season. It's been a rough season at times, but at the same time, we've been able to go through it together. So thank you for everybody who's joined us all season long. Stick with us. This season's gonna turn around. I believe it. And when it does, we're gonna be right here talking about it, being excited about it, because we love this team. Even if we have frustrations with this team, we love this team. We believe in this team, and we hope you do too. And we hope you believe in us. So thank you, everybody, for sticking around, watching this again this week. If you haven't already, like Pat just said, give us the like, give us the subscribe. It helps us out so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again for another week of RBLR Rays. We really appreciate what you've allowed us to do every week, which is come and talk about Rays baseball with you guys. So, as always, Rays up.
Rays up.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.